Um, Vision is obviously a very precious thing for all of us. And when you've lost your vision, and it is irreversible to date, that can be a major impact on one's psyche and emotions. And of course, that translates often to family members as well. So, our last speaker, Kimberly Dobbs, is going to be talking about caring for your eyes and emotions. Kimberly is a counselor for intuitive counseling and wellness. Kimberly?
Okay, I'm going to break this down. Hey, everybody. How's everybody feeling? I feel like I wouldn't be a great therapist if I didn't ask my audience how they're feeling. Okay, so give me 1 second. Just checking my text messages. No, I'm kidding. Open slides. Of course, this was up before I came up here. Give me 1 sec. Okay. So first, I want to take a moment and just thank the Glaucoma Research Foundation for hosting an event like this because it is such an important event. And also, it's a tremendous honor and a privilege to be a part of it. So, as said, I am Kimberly Dobbs. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I have a group practice right here in Philadelphia, kind of pretty much around the corner. So a little bit about me. I've been a mental health therapist for over 17 years. I have two fantastic teenage children, one of which, my 16-year-old daughter, is here with me today. So that feels exciting. I host a podcast called Intuitive Choices. And I also, as you can probably tell, I'm blind. I went blind over time from a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, which is a degenerative eye condition of the retina. I was diagnosed at 17 years old, actually at the Wilmer Eye Institute at Johns Hopkins. And I was told by my physician that there was no treatment, there still is no treatment or medication, but that the trajectory was blindness and that I would likely go blind by the age of 40. And here we are. I'm going to tell you my age. I am 41 years old, and all I have now is light perception. Okay. So why am I here? What am I here to talk about? I'm here to talk about glaucoma and mental health. Okay. And what I like to say is a life impacting eye condition. Okay. So what are some of the factors? The biggest one, in my opinion, is the fear of the unknown, right? I think it's one thing to inform ourselves, which of course is huge, but I think it's another to live through it, right? And we're humans, so we like our world to be predictable. And when we don't know what to expect, that can actually feel terrifying and kind of debilitating, right? Lack or limited support system. As you experience and you're on your glaucoma journey, however that transpires within you, right? It's going to impact potentially your sense of independence, right? That might decrease, which could then increase isolation. And then a big one is shame and insecurity. One of the things that, as I was going blind, that I really grappled with was actually using my white cane. And I was about probably 29, 30 years old. And while I could intellectually go, this is a practical tool. What do we know about emotions? Emotions aren't always practical, right? They're not logical. So even though I could go, yeah, this is important for me, it'll keep me safe, right? I won't trip on curbs or fall down steps. It was something about kind of taking this white cane and outwardly going, okay, I am now a person who is blind. And so that was a process, right? A process of moving through some of that insecurity. And I'll have you know now, I'm a very, very proud cane user. She is kind of she's like an extension of me and my guide dog, Ursula, who's not here with us today, but she was here yesterday. What about coping, right? Here's the thing. I think as a therapist, the first thing I'll say is I hear a lot people say to me, I'm not doing a good job at coping. So the first thing I'll say is like drop the judgment, right? It's not about whether or not you're doing it well, good, or bad. It's that if you are living and you are breathing and you are existing with glaucoma, then you are in fact coping. And we can do this in ways that are going to really enhance how you live your life. I actually love, love, love the last presenter because, again, as a person who's blind, I'm like, I didn't know Samsung had a low vision television. That's fantastic, right? These are things. So, how do we cope? Learning about glaucoma, for better or for worse, the internet is here to stay. And while I too am guilty of like having an ache or pain and then Googling, what is this? And then going down a rabbit hole, with credible resources, the internet is huge, right? Because the more information we have, the more empowering it is. Okay. Um, Support system. Okay. Again, the internet, whether it's Facebook or even Instagram, right? Some of these social media platforms are a fantastic space to surround yourself with people that are going through what you're going through, both in person and virtual. Okay. Um, Big one. We just heard all this information about low vision and low vision tools and technology. That is huge because I think that as you continue to experience the impact of glaucoma on your life, I think oftentimes it's coupled with, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't do the things that I enjoy doing. And of course, when that's happening for you, you might feel depressed, right? You might feel anxious. But once you get yourself involved and see a low vision specialist and start seeing or experiencing that, holy cow, the technology, the tools, right? There's so much out there that will allow for you to maintain the independence, the lifestyle that you've been used to, that you've gotten used to. Okay. A couple weeks ago, I facilitated a group, a workshop with a group of young adults who all had visual impairment of different kinds. And I posed the question to them. I said, what do you think is your strongest tool in navigating your visual impairment? And I got answers like my white cane, my smartphone, my guide dog. And while that's all true and accurate, and I said, yeah, of course, all of those things, they missed one tool, and that is your voice. Our voice is our greatest tool to educate the people around us, to ask for what we need and what we want. Okay, so it's really, really important to know that the people don't know how to help us unless we tell them. Okay, we are our strongest advocates. And then I don't think I wouldn't be a great mental health counselor if I didn't say, go to counseling, go to therapy. If that's something that feels like could be helpful for you, speaking to a professional who gets it, speaking to somebody who can offer some insights, some skills, strategies, right? You do not need to do this alone. Okay. So I don't think this conversation would be complete without talking about grief. Okay. Grief as it pertains to glaucoma. So if if any of you are familiar, I kind of call her like the godfather of grief. Her name is Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, right? She created the 5 stages of grief. Okay. In 1969, she wrote a book called Death and Dying. And in this book, she talks about these 5 stages. Okay, they're listed here: denial, acceptance is in there, anger, bargaining, depression. Okay. So over the last 50 years, what this has evolved to or evolved into is these aren't so much stages that you need to go through, complete, and then you're on to the next thing. So even though they use the word stages, I want you to think about these as experiences, and it's fluid. It's on a continuum, right? So if you are going through glaucoma, or like as I call it, a life impacting eye condition, right? You are going to experience change. And with change comes loss. Okay. And you can't have loss without emotions and feelings, right? So all of this grief is a part of that process. And while many of you might might not want to hear me say this to you, lean in, right? Emotions are a part of the human condition. And then the last piece is acceptance. And I I want to talk about acceptance because in all the years that I've been doing this work, okay, not just as a therapist, but as a person who's moved through going blind, living with blindness, dealing with my teenagers, right? There is there's this idea that, oh, you just have to accept it, right? When something is hard, if you accept it, it'll be, you'll get over it, or you won't experience what it feels like to have hard emotions. But I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. I don't believe that acceptance is just a destination you arrive to. I believe that acceptance is a process we're living through. Okay. And it actually can be a very positive experience, even though you're experiencing hard emotions. And when I say hard emotions, I mean emotions that feel uncomfortable, right? So anger and acceptance coexist. So when I have a client that says to me, oh, I just need to accept it, like, then I won't be so angry. I always say, no, no, no. If you are feeling angry, it's because you're accepting that this is a part of your life. Now, do me one favor. I'm going to close with this, right? Everybody probably has different varying abilities of eyesight. And of course, I can't see a single soul of you. So right now I'm like, feel like I'm talking to nobody, which is great for me. But do me a favor and give me a round of applause. Okay. So not only did I use that to feed my ego a little bit, but also because I want you all to hear that you're not alone. Oh God, I'm going to get emotional. You're not alone. And while I can definitely validate for you that this can feel lonely and you can feel alone, you're not alone. Okay? Show up in your community, utilize your resources, talk to your people. Okay? Because I'm not going to tell you, don't feel your hard emotions. I'm going to tell you, lean into your hard emotions. When I came here yesterday, right, I was so anxious, right? It was a new place. I didn't know this hotel. I didn't know anybody here, right? And of course, the little part of me was like, oh gosh, just maybe don't go. Of course, I would never do that. But of course, that's in me. And I have made a commitment to myself that I will choose literally every day to do something in which I feel like I'm participating in life. And why? Why am I choosing that? Because as uncomfortable as it was for me to figure out like how to get here. I did use my voice. I called the hotel. I made arrangements. I found a contact person here, a point person. As hard as it was to move through how those feelings, those emotions, what it did is it then allowed me and afforded me the opportunity to be on the other side of it, which is right now, with all of you and experiencing something so meaningful. And when we experience something meaningful, we have the opportunity to cultivate joy, which is another very important emotion. All right. And that's what we're all here for. Okay. Thank you.